taking it down a notch into college football or even just NCAA sports in general, I just kind of want to talk about the transfer portal for a little bit. It was created by the NCAA in 2018. It's basically, if you're unfamiliar, it's a database where players amongst any of the sports can enter their name to transfer to another school and play. This isn't anything new. Players used to transfer all the time. However, it was a little bit different because you would ask your coach that if you wanted to transfer, and then you would have to notify schools that you want to go to that you're available to be recruited. This kind of just makes it easier. So your name is in this portal. It can't be seen by the public. And coaches amongst all divisions of NCAA can see who's on there and recruit players that they want. Like the birth of leaving your team and not staying with it, I like to say started at the young age level with AAU. Especially in basketball, it's rampant for players to try this team and they're not happy, they're not getting playing time, and they just go to another team. And a lot of times there's not much research besides just seeing how they did the prior summer. There's a lot of players that have gone into the transfer portal. This year, there's about 1,200 plus players that are in there. You can go into the transfer portal, and if you don't get picked up, you can go back to your team. However, what that does is once you're in the transfer portal, like if I was a head coach and you put your name in the transfer portal, I'm recruiting to replace you already. So you can essentially come back and then fall further in the depth chart. So it gets a little bit scary when you get in the transfer portal because you're not guaranteed to go to another team. However, if you are a top recruit, 3-star, 4-star recruit, more than likely you're going to find another team. But players typically go to the transfer portal so that they can get an opportunity to play. Some players feel like they could have played more or might not have gotten the amount of time that they wanted to play at this specific school, so they want to give another school a chance, which for some players it went well and for some it didn't. So, Jay, I don't know if you're familiar with the transfer portal at all, but as a player, do you think the transfer portal is something that is actually helping players more, or is it giving them too much control with their destiny and sometimes can backfire on them?
I think it's good for players. I think it might especially be good for players who maybe blossomed a little bit later than some early talents. Like, let's imagine if, I don't know, Brock Purdy entered his name into the portal earlier, and then a bigger school got to see him.
Right.
They take him onto the team. He plays a little bit more in a bigger limelight. And then now, all of a sudden, he goes from Mr. Irrelevant that we know him now. He could have been like a second-round pick.
True.
It could have played out that way. So I think it's good for players in that type of situation. But what I don't like is what I could see evolving into is it turns into like a rich getting richer type of situation where big schools are just getting fed good players year round,
right,
outside of like the recruiting time.
Exactly. Something that I also noticed with the transfer portal is it affects high school players a lot, because when you have like 1,200 players in the transfer portal that have experience playing college, even if they didn't play much, they know what it's like to be a college player. I mean, you're getting up early, you're on a schedule day in, day out, and you're playing at a higher level than high school. So a lot of times coaches will look into the transfer portal and they might pick players from the transfer portal versus a player from high school just because of the experience. So now as a high school ball player, you're like not even top 100. You got to be like top 25 if you want to get your chance at a school that's going to let you play right away. Because most of the time you have players coming out of high school and they're like third or fourth in the depth chart. You know, we've had one of the top tight ends in Vegas just a couple years ago. And, you know, when he went to college, he was like third or fourth in the depth chart. And you have to work for your spot, which is like anything in life. You got to work for your spot. You know, he didn't get to play much, but he was able to play. But it's not like you're the guy, you know. And most of the time when you get to college, you realize real fast that you're not the guy that you were in high school. Okay, so don't let Gatorade Player of the Year like get to your head. Don't let, you know, top 100 ESPN get to your head. You're amongst grown-ass men, grown-ass women that are, you know, fighting to keep their spot, and they have experience in college. So as a high school kid, I think it affects them greatly when you have the transfer portal and you got all these college kids that are moving around, because schools are looking at the transfer portal, right away. Even if they've already recruited you, you've already signed and you're committed, doesn't mean that you're going to get that spot, So to me, the transfer portal is great for student athletes at the college level. It kind of hurts high school athletes trying to get into college. But I think it might even open up lower leagues such as the junior college level, because now kids are trying to get the experience. They can go junior college, play for a great national JUCO school, become an All-American there, and then maybe they were like only getting recruited by mid-majors in high school. After that 1 year in college, they're getting recruited by Power 5 schools. So it could change your route a little bit, but if you just stay headstrong, I think that, and you use it correctly, the transfer portal could be of use for you.
Yeah, and I feel like what that would lead to is like a bit more of maturity for players as they enter the league.
Yeah.
Because I feel like lately rookies will come in and they're like a little bit on the green side. But if you're a little bit more seasoned with having to stay in college for maybe a bit longer than you expected, I think it makes for an overall better game when it comes to the NBA or
NFL. Yeah, true. I agree with that. Or you might not even play at all.
Or
You
not,
might
or
just-
that.
Yeah.